Before leaving, please remember to make a contribution to all of my thousands of hours of work here, PayPal, Patreon, or fundraiser in the description below or on the China Rising Radio Sinoland article page. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. Today's audio-visual podcast and article is entitled WTA Bends Over, Grabs Its Ankles for Western Empire in Support of the Big Lie Propaganda Machine, Fake News About Chinese Tennis Star Peng Shuai. Pictured above, Chinese superstar tennis player during her 30-minute interview with the IOC president. His name is Thomas Bach. And I'm going to start with a quotation today by Karl Rove, who said, "We're an empire now, and when we act, we create our own reality. And while you're studying that reality, judiciously as you will, we'll act again, creating other new realities, which you can study too. And that's how things will sort out. We're history's actors, and you, all of you, will be left to just study what we do." Thank you, Mr. Rove. Here's my article. My predictions about the Women's Tennis Association WTA actions concerning Chinese superstar Peng Shuai came true, which I analyzed in a recent post here, short and sweet. As expected, WTA bent all the way forward, pulling down their proverbial tennis knickers and grabbing their ankles for Western Empire. They are stopping all cooperation with China since they cannot, quote, verify Peng's safety and whereabouts. Crusader for Western moral values, WTA chairman and CEO Steve Simon said on 1 December, "With the full support of the WTA board of directors, I am announcing the immediate suspension of all WTA tournaments in China, including Hong Kong. In good conscience, I don't see how I can ask our athletes to compete there when Peng Shuai is not allowed to communicate freely and has seemingly been pressured to contradict her allegation of sexual assault." This, even though, as of today, 5 December, he has exchanged 3 emails with Peng, claiming these messages are, quote, 100% orchestrated, and that this was, quote, fully expected. Really? The Western arrogance of moral superiority and racist hubris knows no bounds, and xenophobia and rabid anti-communism socialism are at the top of the imperial list. What about Simon's replies to Peng? Were they vetted and orchestrated by the West deep state big lie propaganda machine, the BLPM? 10-1 they were. Uncle Sam and company own virtually all, quote, internationally recognized, end of quote, organizations to attack their enemies, including sports, for which China and Russia always pay the imperial price. On 20 November, Peng was shown having dinner with friends in Beijing. Picture provided. On 21 November, Peng had a 30-minute interview with International Olympic Committee IOC President Thomas Bach, where he concurred that she appears to be doing fine. Peng Shuai thanked the IOC for its concerns about her well-being, and Bach said she explained that she is safe and well, living at her home in Beijing, but would like to have her privacy respected at this time. She prefers to spend her time with friends and family right now. Nevertheless, she will continue to be involved in tennis. And there's a picture. So much so that on 21 November, Peng attended an event at the National Tennis Center, signing large-sized tennis balls at the opening ceremony of Junior Tennis Challenger Final. She has since then participated in the opening ceremony of a teenager tennis match final in Beijing. More pictures. Since then, the IOC has been vilified by the BLPM for daring to suggest that Peng is not in danger while interviewing her a second time on 2 December, saying, We share the same concern as many other people and organizations about the well-being and safety of Peng Shuai. This is why just yesterday, Wednesday, an IOC team held another video call with her. We have offered her wide-ranging support. We'll stay in regular touch with her and have already agreed on a personal meeting in January. For all this, the IOC is accused of appeasing those evil Sino-Commie socialists. Maybe the U.S. Congress should gin up more McCarthy trials. Seriously, ask yourself, what is Peng supposed to do? Pass a rape test kit by Anthony Mengele Fauci? Nevertheless, it likely goes much deeper state than that, since it appears the whole hashtag Where is Peng Shuai campaign is a well-worn CIA-inspired psychological operations, often called PSYOPs, aka BLPM fake news, which is standard operating procedure as explained in this interview. As I did more research and thought back, it reminds me more and more about the BLPM campaign to boycott the 2008 Olympics. In March of that year, 5 months before their start, what a coincidence! Tibet had a spat of riots, providing the catalyst for the, quote, civilized West to make a global stand against the butchers of Beijing. It was gaining the predicted vassal steam when in May, China was hit with one of the worst earthquakes in its modern history, Wenchuan, causing the death of 70,000 souls. Worldwide sympathy poured forth, and the Western boycott petered out. I traveled on the Tibetan Plateau and through Wenchuan, writing much about all this and more in the China trilogy. Without repeating pages of research, trust me, those Tibetan, quote, riots, end of quote, were 100% grade A CIA black ops or black operations, a false flag, time to discredit Baba Beijing, my wry name for China's patriarchal governance, to discredit Baba Beijing for the games, and I also discuss many more examples to make it abundantly clear. With Peng Shuai, it is eerily similar, happening 4 months before the Beijing Olympics in February 2022. Like 2008, the BLPM is saturated the global media with Peng Olympics tie-ins, citing only a couple of examples. Here's one. Peng Shuai will sponsor Adidas speak out on sexual assault allegation and ensuing controversy. The dilemma sportswear brands face as China's Winter Olympics nears. Here's another one. What's going on with China's missing tennis star? Peng Shuai's disappearance has mobilized the international community and puts China's Olympic dreams under even more scrutiny. The day after the New York Times, quote, scoop about Peng Shuai, 3 November article about Peng's alleged rape, there were suddenly thousands of similarly synchronized brown shirt jackboot headlines and articles. Coincidence? It is how the BLPM brainwashes most of humanity. Should we be surprised that this, quote, big story got started at NYT, New York Times, which is one of the BLPM's great harlot pimps? NYT is not only an anagram for CIA, it is Deep State Central. You see, we have to take the NYT's words for the whole ball of yarn, since they are the only, quote, original, end of quote, source of Peng Shuai's alleged Weibo posting. Weibo is kind of like Twitter in China, where she was supposedly raped. This was even confirmed by another BLPM faithful, the U.S.'s public broadcasting service, the PBS, which said, unverified post from Chinese tennis star Peng Shuai taken down from Weibo within minutes, in which she claims, again unverified, that she was assaulted by former Vice Premier Zhang Gaoli before willingly becoming his mistress. highest public Me Too allegation in China. Notice I highlighted twice that all of this is unverified. Even worse, but in this supposed post, New York Times CIA twisted it into BLPM hashtag MeToo projectile vomit, claiming Peng wrote she was sexually assaulted, i.e. raped. Not true. Writing fake letters, forging signatures, and these days creating thousands of bogus robot Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram accounts with a few clicks is PsyOps 101. Assuming the post was actually put on her Weibo account, nowhere does she say she was raped. What is written is that for years they were lovers, the romance was broken off, and 3 years ago they met again, whereupon her lover begged her to have sex one more time, and she reluctantly agreed. The post stated, and this is Peng's post in English, taking into consideration the affection I had for you 7 years ago, I agreed. Yes, we had sex. End of quote. That is not rape. What it is an old, lingering, complicated relationship which Peng supposedly regrets. That is all. Furthermore, she was saying, I was very afraid. I did not expect this to happen. That afternoon I didn't agree and I kept crying. I was terrified and anxious. Again, is also not rape. I can personally testify that in my earlier life, messy relationships can cause fear, surprises, reluctance, tears, being terrified and anxious. In closing, if it is true that Peng Shuai had this romance with a married man starting in 2011, was subsequently broken off, only to be rekindled 3 years ago, and now she realized that it could go nowhere and was no longer for her, well, that happens. A lot, in fact. You know what I think? I think it's possible Peng Shuai was in love once with this married guy, and if true, now she regrets it. And that is all. As Frank Sinatra sang, that's life. I had a number of sob stories in my earlier days, and I'm sure many, if not most of us, have as well. Let's close out with one of the best sob songs ever, downloaded just for all of us, and I downloaded Frank Sinatra's That's Life with the lyrics. And then below is the full translation into English of the alleged post offered by the New York Times. I'm not going to read it here. You can go to the article and read it. This is Jeff J. Brown signing out. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.
China Rising Radio Sinoland and China Tech News Flash signing out. Please make a contribution to all of my hard work. Thank you.